I decided to just wait for as long as possible. And I actually went a whole month without needing to wash my scalp. So this is one thing that I think worked. I don't understand. I do not remember my early years being filled with dandruff. I'm just going to start my timeline like this. It was somewhere in 2008 or 2009 when I finally got my mom. I prevailed upon her to let me get a relaxer. So this was my first year in senior secondary school. So this is about 2008, 2009. So we're going to use this as the timeline for my hair conscious years. Like, let's say, okay, this is when I really understood, hair and taking care of my hair myself and all of that. So this is 2008 thereabout. So of course I'm rocking my long hair and all of that. So I don't remember all of this time ever having dandruff. But I remember that it was my first year in the university and I find out that something was terribly wrong with it. Because it wasn't just this dandruff, I also had an intense breakout on my face for acne. Like, I struggled with acne my entire first year on campus, and this was somebody who never used to have this. So before that. So basically, this is when it really began to get real for me. So I really think that environmental factors did contribute to it, but it doesn't change the fact that environmental factors at best just triggered what was already there. And we will get to what that means shortly. But basically, my scalp was just always on fire. Like, there was just always an intense itch. And by the second, third day of making a new hairstyle, I needed to wash my hair. And this was literally when it became obvious to me that I really needed to start taking care of my hair myself and making my own hair myself. Because I will spend thousands of naira on a hairstyle and 3 days later, I need to take it down because I really need to wash my scalp. So I eventually just really started to make my own hair myself. Because I also blamed the hairdressers, I blamed their tools, but it wasn't their tools because now I'm making my hair myself and still the itch did not stop. It just gave me the opportunity to be able to take down the hairstyle in 3 days, in 1 week, and not be bothered about the financial commitment that it took to make the hairstyle. But the itch did not stop. And so it was obvious that it wasn't the hairdressers, it wasn't their tools, it wasn't their hands, in my scalp that was causing it. Of course, the only word we knew for this was dandruff. But the truth is, this was seborrheic dermatitis. This condition is often confused with dandruff because they are actually closely related. They are interwoven, but there's a difference. Seborrheic dermatitis is more intense and inflammatory. Of course, I found this much later, but seborrheic dermatitis is a condition of the skin, not just the scalp, but also the eyebrows, your chest area, your beard, region. So I'm looking in the mirror on that day and I noticed that flaking just right here. I hope I still have that video to insert. I just noticed that flaking just right here and I'm like, wait a minute, is the dandruff, affecting my eyebrows also? And I realized that that is why this is not just dandruff, because dandruff is specific to the scalp. But once you can find this scaling, whatever, in other parts of your body, where hair also grows, where it gets oily, then this is already seborrheic dermatitis. Why is this distinction between dandruff and seborrheic dermatitis important? Because seborrheic dermatitis has triggers. You can wash your hair till thy kingdom come and still not be able to get rid of seborrheic dermatitis. And it is that your triggers are caused by stress, weather, environment, hormonal changes, or even lack of sleep. Personally, when I was stressed with schoolwork and, just emotional, intense moments, you would just feel that urge to just keep scratching your scalp. That is not dandruff. That is a trigger. That is something causing a flare-up. That is something causing an inflammation, in those areas. And so this is not dandruff. This is seborrheic dermatitis. So you can think, oh, my scalp is just dirty, let me go and wash it. It will not work. It will not help. You cannot wash SD away. It comes and goes as the trigger for the flare-up comes and goes. So you must know exactly what it is that triggers your flare-up, and that is exactly what you are tackling. You're not tackling the itch, you're not tackling the flaking, you're tackling what is causing your flare-up. Do you see why this distinction is important? Dandruff is just white and yellow flakes. Yes, it also causes some itching and scalp irritation, but you would notice that this immediately relieves you once you wash the scalp, because it is majorly as a result of oil build up on the scalp. And this causes the yeast, this natural fungus that lives on the scalp, to have a beautiful environment to just enjoy itself. So once you tamper with that environment by washing, with these specific shampoos that has salicylic acid, that has tea tree oil, the minute you displace that environment, the environment becomes inconducive for the yeast, and that stops the dandruff in that moment. So yes, dandruff is related to hygiene. So when you take down that hairstyle and you wash your scalp and you're relieved and your scalp is clear, that's dandruff. But when even after doing that, like I would wash my hair right now, scrubbing my scalp till there's blood in my fingernails, I'm not even capping, and I would dry this hair, pat my hair, and I'm doing like this and scales are falling off my scalp. That is not dandruff. That's a seborrheic dermatitis. Hygiene has nothing. You cannot wash SD away. They are all interwoven, to be honest. It starts somewhere, it gets triggered by something else. So you just have to know which one it is that you may be dealing with per time. This brings me to the third one, which is psoriasis. Now, psoriasis, that one is an autoimmune condition. This is when the immune system causing the skin cells to multiply more rapidly than they should multiply. And instead of taking the normal weeks for them to shed naturally, they just build up to form these very thick, plaque-like looking things. So once you're seeing thick, silver-like scales, it can also be red when you're bleeding, when it is sore, when you're itching uncontrollably, severe itching, you are definitely now dealing with psoriasis. These scales are usually way more thicker than dandruff scales, of course. Once you scratch dandruff, it falls off. But for psoriasis, you have to lift. And even as you are lifting, you can see it. It's like a web all over the scalp. I promise you, I'm probably still traumatized from this. And I know you just want us to get to the solution. But I need you to understand, when you have crossed from dandruff to seborrheic dermatitis, when you have crossed from seborrheic dermatitis and you're already entering psoriasis, because knowing exactly where you are on this broad thing that we just call dandruff is very key to understanding how to deal with these issues. So what exactly is this treatment? Let me be clear, there's no getting rid, there's no curing dandruff, because this yeast lives naturally, it occurs naturally on the scalp. So whenever something or some actions creates a viable environment for this yeast, it starts to breed and grow and enjoy itself on the scalp. So this is what basic dandruff. And therefore what you want to do is to just displace this yeast by ruining that conducive environment for it. And so what are the things that can ruin that environment? Shampoos and conditioners that contain the ingredients like ketoconazole, salicylic acid, tea tree, selenium sulfide. So if you're dealing with dandruff, it means that it takes you a very short period of time for you to have created an environment for the yeast to enjoy itself. If it takes you 2 weeks to start itching, that means you want to wash your hair twice in that 2 weeks so that you never get to the point where you start itching. But of course, this is not possible because most times a lot of us have our hairstyles in for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 6 weeks, 2 months sometimes, when you get braids and whatnot. Now, if you have braids and whatnot, there are some spritz that contain this ingredient that you can just apply. There are some oils, especially tea tree oil, that you can apply, basically to just ruin that environment for the yeast. Note that this fungus, this yeast, it occurs naturally on the scalp, right? So you can't get rid of it. It's your body that produces this fungus. It's your body that produces this yeast. You just want to not create such an environment for it to overly thrive. And of course, I will never not hammer on internal factors. You want to make sure you are eating good food, good nutrients, omega-3. You want to make sure that you have your vitamin D, B12, and of course, iron, okay? Because iron contributes to dryness. Low iron rather contributes to dryness. Dry scalp also triggers dandruff. So that's another thing. People say, oh, it's oily scalp that triggers dandruff. Oh, it's dry scalp that triggers dandruff. There's no proper. There's just know what your symptoms are and try to deal with your symptoms. For SD, if after washing your scalp, doing all of these things, you are still itching. I mean, some of us would finish washing the scalp and you come out of the bathroom and your scalp is still itching. I still experience that, to be honest, right? Like I just finished washing this hair now, and it is already itching. That's because even the process of washing the hair has triggered a little bit of stress in my body, and it is already feeling like itching. So one thing you want to know is that this is not just dandruff anymore. This is seborrheic dermatitis or even psoriasis, right? So you just know that, okay, so that's what it is. I just need to calm down. I just need to, apply something cool to the scalp, some menthols, also this same salicylic acid and whatnot. You just have to be conscious of the patience that it takes to just calm your body, because you understand that this is not just dandruff. This is a flare up. Avoid scratching it, avoid excessive heat also, and just apply whatever it is that cools down, your scalp, and you yourself. Just calm down, cool down, eat well, eat right. And that's pretty much seborrheic dermatitis for you. But when it is at this point where you can see these silvery scales, where you can see some red patches, where you're bleeding, this is already psoriasis. It's still a little bit of SD, to be honest, but this is now really, really psoriasis. This one needs medical help. You probably need corticosteroids, and it is a pharmacist, a dermatologist basically, that is supposed to prescribe steroids for you. So this is literally medical help. You need medical help, So do you see that when they tell you to apply coconut oil, I think I used bay leaves at some point, to apply it to the scalp. Do you see how you are actually creating the environment for this yeast to grow more? And that's why it is not working. So this coconut oil, I don't think it works. It definitely didn't work for me. I think I used raw egg at some point, applying raw egg to my scalp, leaving it for a while. No, you are actually creating the environment for that yeast. So coconut oil, raw eggs, bay leaves, whatever you are applying, just make sure to follow up to wash that hair well, or else you are creating the very environment that you are supposed to be destabilizing for this yeast. As somebody who dabbled into all 3 levels of this, so LZ, what exactly worked for you? What did your dermatologist prescribe or whatnot? I had used ketoconazole, tea tree oil and shampoos, and yes, they managed it for a while. To be honest, I cannot tell you that any one of these things I've been mentioning since worked. They managed it in that moment, but by the 2nd, 3rd day, there was a time I was washing my hair 2 to 3 times a week, or else I would run mad. If I dared to push to once a week, it would be torture. I couldn't even make my hair at some point. I couldn't do anything with my hair, but just wait to wash it in the next 2 or 3 days. And I was using all of this, shampoos, tea tree oil, and whatnot. And frankly, I literally just started to pray about it very seriously. So what I'm about to recommend, I don't know if that's what worked or God just used it and just make this whole thing as manageable as it has been, but I'm still going to recommend it anyway. So basically, I'm really moved by influencers and whatever they are selling, because as far as I'm concerned, there are very few of them, that are genuine in their recommendations. A lot of them are just doing it for the money that the brand paid them. And there are just a very, very few of them that I know have the Holy Spirit. And they don't necessarily go over the top trying to lie about something just to sell it. So there's this particular creator that I respect in this regard, and her name is Sharon, and she had posted this video about regrowing her edges with this product. Now I have a friend, and this is why, when God said, and when the Bible says that Job prayed for his friends and he became healed. To be honest, I was trying to get this product for my friend's edges. Like, our edges are gone. So I'm like, you know what? If Sharon says this works, let me buy this for this friend. So I buy this product for this friend, but she wasn't necessarily excited about it because this product has a smell and she's quite finicky. So I just thought, fine, I'll just use it myself. She took some of it though, but she was very finicky about it. And I'm like, this girl will just go and drop this thing in the house. So she took some of it and I took the rest. So I'm like, fine, this will just be my hair cream until it finishes. And then, I can go back to the things I used before. Somehow I realized that I had gone a whole week and I didn't have the need. Like, I don't wake up thinking, oh, I'm washing my hair. It's my hair by itself that will be itching so much that will make me go and wash it. So I realized I had gone a whole week and I did not feel the need to wash my hair. I parted my hair, checking for my usual scales and whatnot, and they were non-existent. And I'm like, wait, what did I use? I'm like, wait, this product. I decided to just wait for as long as possible And I actually went a whole month without needing to wash my scalp. So this is one thing that I think worked. I don't understand what is inside. I cannot explain. Only 3 ingredients are listed, and that is menthol crystal, BP, sulfur, and lanolin. I believe that there's a little bit of chebe and kakar because of the smell and the color, but it is not listed in their ingredients. So I can't necessarily explain to you the back end as to why this product works so crazily for this issue. So I'm going to recommend it anyway, and just trust that you just take my word for it. But this product, this Chambers 2000, somehow has brought this entire ordeal to an incredibly manageable point. It's exactly 1 year. This is my 3rd jar, if I'm correct. It's exactly 1 year, and I've not had this crazy experiences anymore. Yeah, a little bit of dandruff here and there, you know, when styles are long, but nothing out of the ordinary. I hope this video was helpful. If it was, tell me in the comment section, and if every other link that you need will be in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.